Okay, this is for GE. Okay, this is what they're looking for. Okay. Need to know Outlook, SAP, Excel, organized grammatical skills. Excuse me. The Administrator 2 provides effective and responsive administrative secretarial services to support business leaders in day-to-day business operations and activities. Primary responsibilities include proactively support internal customer by independently handling all assigned administrative duties and taking direction from and balancing the needs of multiple staff members, providing administrative support to clients through effectively maintaining and coordinating calendars, scheduling appointments and meetings, making travel arrangements, telephone coverage if needed, filing, processing, and reconciling, T&L expense accounts, handling various purchases, and making AP invoice arrangements. Schedule, plan, and organize all logistical details for in-house and off-site meetings, training, and events. Develop PowerPoint presentations and other graphic presentations. Type various correspondences both in own signature and in manager's signature. Provide general office administrative services. In some functions, but not all, will support budget management, liaising with finance to ensure costs are monitored and controlled, assist with job candidate interview scheduling, enter temporary support requests into My Resources or other generating system, enter temporary support requests. Okay. Run reports in Excel, access business objects and other data gathering programs, input and update data into Oracle databases, provide tactical support, answering questions on central sites and on various internal processes and e-tools. Help keep organization charts up to date as directed, maintain filing and records management systems and other office flow procedures which may be confidential. At some sites, an administrator may provide payroll support for hourly associates, generate, review, and file pharmacy reports if supporting pharmacy site, accurately maintain customer pricing files and complete contract data entry, create statistics and send out customer brochures or correspondence or document leads. Required qualifications: high school diploma, GED, or local equivalent, 3 to 5 years secretarial administrative experience, knowledge of general office management and current computer office communications technologies, expert in PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and Outlook, self-starter, proactive, able to work independently with minimal direction, able to maintain confidentiality and handle matters discreetly, effective time management and organizational skills, able to balance multiple priorities, effectively problem solve and resolve a variety of issues and topics within the job scope, ability to effectively interact and communicate with senior level management and corporate contacts, excellent interpersonal, verbal, and written communication skills, including strong grammatical skills. Okay, so that is it for that. So this is the one that we're going to discuss in 6 minutes. Okay, this is Samantha. This is Samantha. She wants to schedule me for an orientation to start work, which I can do. I may have to, depending on what time she wants me to start. She wants me to start tomorrow or next week. And then the other thing is with Avis, that's a wash. A lot of companies are saying that they're hiring to get people to respond, and then they send you a coupon for services. That's a punk move right there. You know, I could put that out there. That's a bad look. Hamu. That's a bad look, honey. Uber tearing that butt up, baby. I would love it if Avis and Uber would merge so that people don't have to keep using their personal vehicles, you know. What is it, punk? What? What, moo? Get off me. I got stuff to do, gal. What? What? Where's your brush? No, get off me, moo. No, thank you. So, moo want to go walking. You want to go out there and go walking? Moo want to go outside and go walk? Huh? Yes. Yes. Moo want to go outside and go walking. Look at Moo. It's a Moo. 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 Get her. Moo. 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 You want to go outside, go walking? Moo. Moo. You want to go sniff some stuff outside, Moo? I'm trying to wait on this phone call. I got 3 minutes. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the call. So here we go. Answer.
To reach you regarding your student loan pre-qualification. A few weeks ago, you were pre-approved for...
That is not the call I was waiting on. So I got 2 minutes. Yes. Tomorrow at 10. Okay, Samantha wants me to start tomorrow at 10. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead with this call at 8:30. I'm going to follow my schedule. Because one thing that I have learned is that just because things are supposed to work out a certain way don't mean that it will. So best to keep everything rolling. So this is this one. Let's see. Two 8:30 a.m. So she will call, and it's now 8:30. So now I'm gonna wait for her to call. I guess while I do that, I can go grab my notes right quick. Let me go grab my notes that Janet gave me yesterday. Let me hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Grab the notes. And I go to call. Good morning. How can I help you?
Hi, is this Khalifa?
Yes, this is she.
Hi, Khalifa. This is Christina with GE Healthcare. How are you?
Oh, hi. Hi, Christina. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. Is this still a good time to talk to you?
Oh, yes, it's a good time.
Okay, great. So I believe we have about 30 minutes scheduled, and want to talk to you about the temporary executive admin position that we have here in our downtown Seattle office.
Right.
Good. So I am the HR business partner for our healthcare business here in the Seattle office, and so I support a lot of the general managers and executives from an HR perspective, and so I'm interested to learn a little more about some of your experiences and see how you might be a fit for this role.
Well, a little bit more about me. When I worked as an executive assistant, and it was and to administratively support the partner, as well as 2 directors and 3 attorneys. And over at Pricewaterhouse, we have lines of service. And so my line of service was Global Human Resource Solutions and Unify. And so most of our clients were people like Jewish Hospital. So that's where the medical part comes in. That's how I understand medical terminology, and have spoken with many professionals in the medical field. And that's what I did on a full-time basis as an executive assistant. So I noticed in the job description that there was a lot of setting up meetings and doing other secretarial duties. I have all of the experience in doing that. Plus, I'm very proficient in Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Outlook, all of those software.
Okay, great. So just to step back for a second, just tell me a little bit about why you're looking for temporary work right now.
Actually, I'm looking for temporary work. I work for the Census Department, or the Department of Commerce, and I work with the census. So I am working, and so I just wanted to take on more work, because the census is not time consuming. It's about 10 hours a week. And so I could be doing something else. And I am available for temporary as well as full-time work.
Okay. And would you continue to do that 10 hours a week with the census if you got this role?
Yes.
Okay, and you feel like you can manage that, because this would be, 40 hours a week and potential for overtime depending on what's going on.
Right. And the reason why I will be able to do both is because of the way that I work as a census person. I'm not just taking account of households and I have to cover so much territory. That's not what I'm working on. What I work on is with victims of abuse or violent crime. And so there isn't much of that going on in my city. So I'm not super busy.
Okay. Wow, that must be a very tough and interesting job.
It's a job that's really it makes you appreciate life and have a better perspective on life and what the reality is for a lot of people. And what I've learned most is I've worked with a lot of first responders and so just getting their perspective on everything when they're not officially on duty, and just seeing them as human beings, and being in a position where I can listen to them and I can take down their information and communicate that to the Department of Commerce, it makes me feel good as a person, and I'm able to give them a little bit of peace. So it's a very positive thing, and it hasn't been what you would think, because I'm not one of those people that come in right to a scene and there's just this whole thing and the emotions are raw and the family's just finding out. It's not like that, fortunately.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it takes special people to do that work, so thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
So you mentioned that you're very proficient in a lot of the Microsoft tools. You know, I think for this role specifically, you're mostly working with Outlook. You know, there would be occasions where some of the GMs might ask you to help put together things in PowerPoint, or you know, Excel skills might be helpful to manage data. Do you have any experience using communication technology like Skype or Cisco telepresence or anything like that?
I have, and I have used Skype. I've used GoToMeeting, so I am familiar with all of those. So I would need to set up like conference calls or video calls.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, like as a company, we just recently switched. We were using something, I think it was Cisco WebEx.
Okay. Oh yes.
And yeah, and now we're using Skype.
Okay.
We've just changed to that in the last several months, and there's been a lot of technical challenges with getting people used to the new software and figuring out how you do the video conferencing for small groups or large groups. So being savvy in that would be a big help, I think.
Yes.
So you mentioned you had experience coordinating events, and I see that here on your resume as well. Can you give me an example of a time when you had to coordinate a large event?
Yes. Just recently, I worked on the Microsoft Ready conference at the Washington State Convention Center. Mm-hmm. And I worked on, I believe the other conference was called Digital Insights for Microsoft.
Okay.
And so what I did was work with EventForce to come up with a team that would support them to be there as temporaries to do registration and to help attendees or participants kind of navigate the Washington State Convention Center, because a lot of people come from out of the country. And so they don't know what to do. This may be their first time visiting Washington State, coming to the convention center, that type of thing. And so what I did was be able to come up with an Excel spreadsheet that was accessible on a smartphone, so that you could search it in order to find answers to common questions, from what's the Wi-Fi password to where's the first aid. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. Let's see, coat and bag check, where that is, and the dates and times of that, and also how to get to the mobile app that Microsoft has set up for participants to be able to access their agendas for the meeting. And so that's one thing that I did. Is kind of it's a lot of the detailed information that a lot of people don't think about, but those are the details that really make for a successful meeting or an unsuccessful one, when you don't have that information, or it cannot be communicated, or the wrong information is given. And so that was my my most recent experience.
And when was that?
Let's see, not this weekend, not Super Bowl weekend, but the weekend before. So this was yeah, we started training everybody, having meetings and everything on last Friday, and then Saturday we did a run through, kind of like a practice. And then Sunday, people started to arrive. And Monday is when the conference actually started. So that was registration, and it was all hands on deck. And the conference went on throughout the week and ended on Friday.
Okay, and how did you get involved with the conference?
Through Event Force.
Okay, so do you do work for them as well?
No, I don't work for Event Force, but what I do is I come and I help out, and we kind of negotiate a little fee, and
Okay.
and I put my boots on and go for it.
Okay, so it's kind of like, event by event, you might,
Right.
work, not volunteer, obviously, but you would sort of like contract with them to help with specific events.
Right. They will call me if they have any kind of trepidation about, this might go left, so let's call Khalifa. And so they call me, and if I'm available, then I will go.
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
For about 2 years. But I haven't gone every time that they've called me though, because I may be doing something else. Mhm.
Got it. Okay. Well, that sounds like a very large scale event. So, in terms of this role, I think we wouldn't have anything that large, like a convention center, but certainly, we have large customer events that you wouldn't be responsible for running yourself, but you would certainly be someone who the people who are planning the events would look to for details around, are these executives coming, what are their travel logistics, stuff like that. And then, here locally at the site, we'll have site events, and we've got about 200 people at our downtown site here, and so, usually for events we'll have, less than that attend, but, things like town halls, or social events, kind of like happy hours at the office and things like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with the concept of a town hall?
I am.
Okay. So, it's just kind of like, let's say once a quarter or at the beginning of the year, we have a business leader kind of, like right now, for example, it's the first quarter, and so a lot of our business leaders are doing kickoffs in town halls with their groups for 2018, what's the focus, kind of recapping how we did in 2017, et cetera. So, as an example, if you were asked to help set up a town hall for an executive that you were supporting, walk me through the steps that you would take to set that up.
In order to set up the town hall, the first thing I would do is probably look for a way to contact all of the participants to see if they are available, and to get the information out to them that the town hall meeting is tentatively scheduled for such and such a date at such and such a time in this location, and wait to hear back their responses, whether there are people that at least the ones who are not on Outlook, because on Outlook I can pretty much put in a date and choose all the participants and see who's available on that day and what time. And then the second thing I would be looking at is booking the venue, whether it's going to be a conference room on site, making sure that no one else has booked it for that same day or not. And then the other thing, normally with the town hall, I haven't had to cater in lunch or anything like that, but beverages are important. So I would definitely look at how many participants it's going to be, and then that's what lets me know how much coffee, water, and other type of beverages that I may need to get. And sometimes I also get like cookies or maybe fruit for the meeting. And then I would give the executive an update as far as what the response has been, and it would also be key for me to know who he feels is mandatory that they need to be there for whatever reason, for whatever questions, whatever the topic is for this town hall, recapping 2017, he would probably want his top performers or producers or people who really made an impact there at GE Healthcare to have a part in the town hall and maybe even answer questions or something. And so it would be mandatory for them to be there. So I would definitely want to know those persons' names and find out what their availability is for the town hall. And then as things progress, and then whatever issues, I would just make sure that I communicate that and try to find out the best way to facilitate the town hall. And hopefully the day that it starts, I would be able to have everything set up, whether if he wanted to do a projector, he or she wanted to include some footage from 2017, or someone that wanted to also speak at the town hall via Skype to make sure that that is up and running. And and then throughout the meeting, I will be checking on beverages, checking on participants, making sure that there's no issues, making sure that I'm not receiving emails from people saying, hey, I'm stuck over here. How do I get to where the meeting is? You know, being there to answer those type of questions and direct people to the right place. And making sure that the meeting goes off without a hitch, making sure that if there are any hard copies of anything that needs to go out, whether it's a report or a profit sharing letter that needs to go to all the employees, or just whatever it is, that they receive that. And after the meeting is over, make sure that everything is taken care of, from chewing gum wrappers to discarded cups, and all of the materials are picked up, and make sure that the room is taken care of. And then at the end of it, I would definitely circle around to the executive and find out if there was an email that he wanted to send out to all the participants to thank them for attending, and any final remarks that he wanted to go out. Make sure that they receive that.
Okay. Thank you.
I didn't say anything about security.
What's that?
I didn't say anything about security.
Yeah, well.
Everybody's properly badged.
Yes, yes. Now, safe to assume that everybody who's in the meeting would have had some badging to the office. So, I saw in your resume, that you enjoy working in a team environment, dynamic organization. I think, that definitely describes us. I think, I would characterize our office as a fast-paced environment, kind of ebbs and flows as any business does, but there are times when there certainly is a lot going on, and so the pressure may feel pretty high and things moving fast. So lots of need to multitask and prioritize. So can you just give me an example of a time when you had a lot going on and you had to juggle multiple priorities, and how you handled that?
Yes. I worked at a company where we not only were a fast-paced company, but we were also merging with another fast-paced company. So what we had to do was consolidate everything and move to a new location. And I had to get, on top of all of my regular duties, I had to get new business cards, new stationery, new everything, because all the logos were changing. Make sure that all of the voicemail messages on various various electronic devices, as well as the office phones, had the proper greeting, that it no longer said the old company but now said the new company. Double checking everything to make sure that the address was correct, changing all all of the little minute details, at least in our particular department, were making those changes. I had to digitize all of our old files, had to go over to using the new vendors, and I no longer could use the old vendors that we were using for offsite storage, for shredding. All of those things had to be changed. New policy and procedures for submitting time and expense reports when they were due. All of those things had to be changed, updated, send out general reminders to everybody, and what the rules were. Like, for example, if it was an expense that was less than $50, they didn't need a receipt. Under the new policy and procedures, anything over $20 would need a receipt. So things like that. And so it's just very, very fine details. My regular job was answering all incoming phone calls and directing them to the right person, staying on top of time and expense reports, and doing filing, making sure that the files were in order. At this time of the year, I would be archiving 2017 files that I could for offsite storage, and creating new files for 2018. That's what would have been happening for the month of January, and I'd be wrapping that up now. And so all of those things, that was regular day-to-day job duties. The staff meetings that were happening once a week, there were one-on-one meetings that were also happening. There was also all of the visitors. If we received any visitors into the department, we used to receive people that were from the Chicago office that would be flying down because they had meetings in our area, making sure that their hotels were booked properly, making sure that they had a place that they could sit where their laptop would work, and they would have access to our internet and different things like that, making sure that their passwords work. If they lost their laptop, how to get them one that they could use while they're in our office, all those type of things. Because nothing ever ran smoothly and according to schedule. There was always things that would pop up that you would have to stop and put that fire out and then get back to whatever the regular thing that was going on. People would get sick, their child would get sick, something would happen, someone go into labor 2 months before they're supposed to go into labor, and those type of things that we would need to have a solution for that. And meanwhile, to the outside world, make everything look like everything was seamless and professional and under control, with a smile in our voice and a pleasant attitude.
Yeah, that was definitely a challenge to kind of manage the inner turmoil and still present, a composed image to the external world.
Exactly.
So how much time did that take, the consolidation and the move? How long were you doing kind of double duty on that?
Double duty on the merger?
Yes.
Well, it was a long process because we knew that it was happening years before it happened, and but it wasn't public information. So within the company itself, there was a lot of things going on as far as some people were retiring. A lot of those roles had to be filled with replacements, and a lot of meetings to figure out what the new organization was going to look like, even what the new name was going to be with the merger. And then and then we also had a group that was doing had various meetings for different groups within the company to get our feedback on, well, what did we think about this and what did we think about that. And a year before the merger actually happened, we had a huge meeting that was off-site, and a lot of people were told, you know, this is going to be your last day with the company. And this is what your severance package is going to be, and this, that, and the other. And, that whole thing happened. And that was kind of like a big deal, because for the rest of us who were coming back to the office, we were just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it was, and we still had to, there was no discussing anything on elevators. There was no outbursts or talking to the media. There was no discussing it while we're having pizza with our family at Godfather's Pizza. There's, complete and total confidentiality throughout the process. And we got through it, but it was very, very difficult. But a lot of us were used to working in professional environments where we were used to change. We were used to things, being a little volatile, because that's the way business is, because there's always variables happening. So many of us, all, like, for example, even though I was an executive assistant, I was taking classes at university to keep my skills up. I was a member of several professional organizations, so I was always in contact with other people who were in similar roles or worked in the same industry that I did. So, and there was always changes happening. There was always changes going on in the industry. There was always a new press release. And as an example, just this past week, I heard the breaking news. Amazon is making their own health care for their employees. So, so it's like, okay, well, I sent my resume to GE Healthcare. I wonder what they're saying about that. Or are they saying anything? What do they think about that? How is a fulfillment company now going to go into healthcare? What is this all about? So
Yeah.
it's just that
it's definitely an interesting part of the industry to be in, and for a while we've known that typical what we consider tech companies like Google and Apple and Amazon are figuring out how and when they get into the healthcare space, because Apple, like, everybody has their iPhone or their Apple Watch, they're already tracking all the health data. So how do you provide a solution for consumers that's useful and can be monetized and things like that. So it'll definitely be interesting to see where they take it.
Exactly, and that
healthcare, yeah.
And that's my example of a variable. There you are doing your job, and then here's this announcement, and you're going, okay, that's interesting. Meanwhile, I still have these meetings that I have to go to. I still have to get ready and check to make sure the spacing is correct on this presentation. I've got to do a run through so that this PowerPoint is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And just wait and see until the other shoe drops as to whatever Amazon is going to do. And meanwhile, there may be another announcement next week,
Exactly. So, Khalifa, I know we're at 9 o'clock, but I'd love to finish for just a few more minutes if you have the time.
Oh, sure.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that I'm not holding you back. So in this role,
Mm-hmm.
So there is another EA. So the reason this is a temporal is that we have 2 EAs supporting those 5 executives, and one of them is going to go out on maternity leave soon.
Okay.
And so, so this role would be supporting those 5 executives, sort of generally. And, all 5 of them are, different people with different styles, different personalities. So can you talk me through, just in your experience, how you have built relationships quickly and how you manage different personalities?
Well, I cheat, and this is how I do it. Underneath their information under Outlook, I put on there what it is their style is and what it is that they like. For instance, someone may like initial, when I'm communicating with them, they like for me to send them an email unless it's an urgent situation, then just come to my office, So I put in those type of things because usually in the heat of the moment, it's hard to remember exactly who likes this or who likes that, and especially when you're working as a temporary. So what I do is I put in those details underneath their information in my Outlook. That's what I do, and that's what helps me to never make the mistake of getting that confused or having an awkward situation where I do something that an executive has expressly asked me not to do, because that is go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so how do you find out what their style and their preference is?
Normally when I first go into the position, I have a one-on-one with everybody that I'm supposed to support, and they let me know that this is what they like, and I generally will ask them because I have a lot of experience and I've seen a lot of mistakes done. And so I will ask those type of things, like even if you're in a meeting, what telephone call do you want to be interrupted for? Who calls and you, no matter what's going on, you want to receive that call. And so I make a note of that, and so I put that into the Outlook underneath that person's name, so that mistake is never made. And then as time goes on, different situations will come up where we didn't go over in the one-on-one, and as I find out new information, I modify that Outlook. I modify it. And so it makes me look really smart and really professional.
Yeah, no, it's good. I have cheat sheets for stuff like that too. So let's say that you have an executive who, their calendar is constantly booked. They're very busy, and they have a tendency to run late in their meetings. That kind of throws the whole day off. How do you help them?
Normally what I do is, and I'm not sure how GE is set up, but usually for a lot of the meetings, I'm there in the meeting too, because I'm taking the minutes. And so what I normally do is I work out a way to let the executive know that time that we need to kind of start wrapping it up. And normally what I've universally done is I get up from the table and I start to kind of get everything squared away as far as the beverages are concerned. I start turning things off. And normally that's a signal to the executive to say, okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, or if you have any other questions or feedback, just email Kalitha and she'll get that over to me. And usually that's...
Okay, and what if you're not in the meeting?
If I'm not in the meeting, then that means that I have to kind of go over to the meeting. And what I do is I go into the room and I stand at the back of the room and make eye contact with the executive to let him know that the time is winding down.
Got it.
Hmm. And usually that's enough, but there's some executives where I have to actually stand there until they actually in the meeting. And if they're still talking a little bit longer, what I do is I take a step, kind of like Mother May I, saying, okay,
Yeah.
they know, I'm taking steps up to the front of the room. That means you're out of time. You're out of time. Go ahead and wrap it up. And so they're generally very good sports about it, and they appreciate it because other people, other participants, they have other meetings that they need to get to, and they, don't want to arrive late.
Right. Yeah, and I think the culture here is pretty casual, and so what I've seen other EAs do is they'll just knock on the door and say if it's like a small meeting or something,
Mm-hmm.
they'll knock on the door and say hey Bob, you've got 5 minutes left, or hey Bob, your next meeting's coming out for stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, that's really good. I'm not used to saying that. I come from where the executive assistant can't speak.
No, I mean, I think, one thing to know about our culture is, especially with these 5 executives, I mean, the EAs are such a big part of running the show and keeping them on track. And so, and as you get to know them in your one-on-one, you can ask them how comfortable they are with you being direct or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that it's well intentioned, and so anyway, just a little glimpse into our culture here. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
nearly
good to
as
know.
formal as what you might be used to.
Oh, I was thinking that it's going to, we're talking GE Healthcare, so I immediately thought, yes, formal.
Yeah, it's that might have been true. I think it is true in other parts of the company, but this part of GE Healthcare is a software organization.
Are you sure? Because I went through my closet looking for my Jones of New York pieces.
No, you can wear jeans, you can wear flat. It's business casual. So.
Oh, all right.
No worries there. Let's see. Let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
Can you tell me about a time when you personally got some tough feedback and how you handled it?
Let's see. A time when I got tough feedback. There was a time where I had a one-on-one with one of my directors, and he told me that I needed to be more assertive, which was tough for me to take because I always strive to be, completely professional and abide by all the ethical standards and things like that. But he really wanted me to be more assertive when handling his calendar, when handling his calls. And what he felt was that he was getting too many phone calls that he didn't want to receive. Yes. And he felt like it was a distraction. He hated to have any kind of voicemail messages. He wanted me to take care of all of those situations. And I just said, that's when I said to him, okay, so what is the phone call that you will take? What is the voicemail that you don't mind having on your phone? Because up until that time, I've had some people who would say to me, I want you, when I'm out of the office, you're me. But this conversation had never happened with this gentleman. And I hadn't picked up any signals from him that would say that, like when we would be in meetings or anything like that, and someone would say, well, I need for you to, or Bob, I want to talk to you about this, that, and the other, or I submitted some changes for that presentation. He would never say, well, just send that to Kalitha, which is how a lot of people would let their subordinates know Kalitha is the point of contact. Kalitha is who you need to send everything to, instead of sending it directly to me. So, but in the meeting, on the one-on-one, that's what he told me. He was really upset. And I was just like, oh, wow. It was kind of, I was like, oh my goodness, really? Because I had no idea that was, something that he wanted. And so I was able to implement it, of course, right away once he communicated that to me. But I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I love those. Like, yeah, I love those one-on-one meetings just for that reason.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. It sounds like you've taken that experience to heart and now proactively try to get that information from people up front so that there's no surprise or misunderstanding.
Right, because that's an unnecessary reason to be frustrated. There's a lot of things that happen in business that will make you want to pull your hair out, but that one was, for the unnecessary things where you just tell me, then, we can get that squared away so that you don't have to be frustrated or stressed out, and I don't have to be walking around like, la, 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 everything is great, and meanwhile, you're fuming.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Well, do you have any questions for me right now?
Well, I wanted to, one of my questions was, why this was a temporary position, and now I understand it's because of one of the EAs is going to be on maternity leave. And so,
yep.
Yeah. And so, I'm thinking that what you would want me to do, and this is my question, do you want me to just kind of like be in support of the other EA, and she will be the one who would direct me in the role, or is it that she supports so many of the executives and then the other EA supports the remainder, and so I will be responsible for taking care of her workload, or just how would this kind of...
Yeah, good question. Yeah, the way that we're approaching it right now is that you would be working with the other EA, and she would help direct your work.
Okay.
And so, I think basically like you would be involved in a lot of the things that she is because, like in case she gets sick or wants to take vacation, you need to be in a position to be her backup. So
okay.
You would have access to the calendars for all 5 executives. You would be involved in managing, a lot of the kind of regular recurring meetings like one-on-ones and things like that. You would help with setting up the events at the town halls or staff meetings or things like that. And then at the site in general, we have, some site events and things like that from a facilities perspective. There might be some of those responsibilities as well. But that's our thinking at this point.
Okay. And so the best way that I would be able to help you at GE would be to really be the support of this EA and to the EA who will be remaining in the office, and to make sure that nothing falls in between the cracks for the 5 executives.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that. If given the opportunity. Okay.
Good. Any other questions for me?
Let's see. I had one question while we were talking. So if I was starting like next week, what are some of the priorities that you would want me to be focused on?
Good question. So I think first of all would be having you meet and get to know the 5 executives,
Okay.
so that you can make your cheat sheets and figure out, kind of how they operate, and you can also get the download from the other EA that we have here.
Okay.
And then I think getting up to speed on the technology. So I'm sure the Outlook and everything will be familiar to you, but we want to make sure that you're comfortable with our implementation of Skype and how that works with our Cisco telepresence technology as well.
Okay.
I think that's where, like I said, a lot of people have been struggling, and so they tend to turn to be used for tech support.
Okay.
And we do have regular tech support as well, but it's just, kind of like a user error or, things like that that is fixable. Then want to make sure you're able to help them. And then we've got, some upcoming conferences and business travel and things that the executives and other people in the organization will be participating in. So coordinating travel and things like that. I think it's going to be a busy next few months, just in terms of the meetings and events and customer conferences and things like that.
Okay.
And then I think, getting you acquainted with the office and some of the folks here, and, we'll often have visitors come in for meetings, and so, you would be helping set those up, so, figure out the catering and coordinate all of that, and I think those are probably the big priorities right now. And of course, things can change, but but I think those are the things we can count on for sure.
Okay. And so, what do you like most about working at GE?
Oh my goodness, great question. I think, especially being part of the healthcare business, it's just so rewarding to come into work every day and know that what you're doing is making a difference in people's lives. I think the solutions that we develop and the products that we sell just really make a difference in the world, and not every company can say that. And so there's just a real sense of purpose and passion from our employees that I really enjoy. And the people here are just great. We've got pretty good mix of people who have been here for 20 plus years, and people who have just graduated from college, and people who are somewhere in between. So it's just it's a really fun and inspiring place to work.
That sounds like that is a really good answer. It sounds like a wonderful environment to be working in.
Yeah, and of course, there's a ton of change. If you read anything in the headlines about GE recently, you'll know that there's a ton of change, and so but I kind of take the attitude that you have. It's like, yeah, stuff's going on, but we still have to deliver on our commitments every day and focus on the things that we can control, and things will continue to change, and we have to embrace them and figure out what they mean for us, and then keep moving ahead.
Right. That's what happens in business. All right. So what's the next step in the process?
Yeah. So I am doing some more screening this week, but I will get back to Stephanie Johnson, who I think is coordinating things with you, and I'll let her know, if we want to move to an on-site, and if that's the case, we'll have you come by the office and meet with some of the EAs and maybe a couple of the executives, and just do the conversation in person.
All right. Well, I'm available.
Very good. Well, it was so nice to talk to you, Kalitha, and thank you for being flexible with the timing and talking to me for an extra 20 minutes. It was good to get to know you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much, Christina. I've really enjoyed speaking with you too and learning more about GE.
Very good. All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, and we'll be in touch shortly.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Okay, so then I gotta call Janet. 368 0860.
Calling Viva USA. If you know your party's extension, please dial it at any time. For our This is Janet.
Oh my gosh, I expected your voicemail. This is Khalifa Albert. I was waiting on you to say, this is Janet. I'm sorry, I'm away from my desk. Go ahead and leave a message and I'll call you back.
You know it by heart.
Yes. You know, I just got off the phone with Christina at GE Healthcare. And we talked a lot, and that's the reason why I'm calling you now, because it went over the time allotted. She wanted to stay on the phone with me. And
well, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I figured that was a good thing. And I could tell that she wanted me to ask her for the job, but I
so
did.
You did.
No, because I didn't want to seem too desperate. You know,
Okay.
They're a little bit. It's a really, from what she was saying, because I asked her what does she really love about working at GE, and what I found out about them is that they're a very close group. They really like each other, and they're very friendly. And you know how some friends are. If you act too desperate to want to be a part of the gang, they kind of feel, you know, it's best that they kind of pick and choose and invite who they want to be a part of their circle. And so I asked her the reason. That's why I didn't ask for the job, because she already told me that. And so then I asked her why the position was temporary, and she told me it's because one of the executive assistants is going out on maternity leave.
Okay.
But here's another thing that she said. She was very concerned that I wouldn't, you know, why do you just want to work temporary? So that was an issue. So I'm thinking that they want somebody in temporarily, but it may be an opportunity for a position to open up to be permanent, and it may be a third EA position. And if they fell in love with me during the 5 months, it would be kind of wrenching for them to have to go through this process again to hire another EA when, you know, they because I could only work temporarily because I'm going to London after that, you know, in the fall. So that was important to her, and it kind of really caught my attention because there was this kind of like this tone in her voice, you know, why are you taking a temporary position at this time, you know?
So the way to cover that at any point in your life is just to, you know, just to grab the company name and say, who wouldn't work at this company under any circumstance?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
So that's one way you can always play it.
Okay. I didn't say that. I heard it in her voice, and I just wanted to let her know, well, I'm open. You know, I can work temporarily or a full-time position. It's no problem.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 9.
And was it more conversational or inquisitive? How would you describe it?
It was definitely conversational, and it wasn't, and I say that because I expected it to be uber professional, you know. I mean, I'm sitting here wearing Jones of New York and stockings. Because that's what I thought that it would be. And she was
Mhm.
saying that in the past and in other departments, it is that way at GE, still to this day, but not in their department. And again, she was
Okay.
communicating to me how they have, for an example, when I, as an executive assistant, the way that I let my executive know that he's running over in a meeting, I come into the meeting room and I stand at the door. That way he knows that he needs to wrap it up. But with them,
Mhm.
the executive assistant just knocks on the outside of the door and says, hurry up. Okay? So that's a lot more, that's a more friendly, more casual way of doing that. So and so she was communicating to me just what the culture is like there and the type of person that they're looking for that would really fit in
Mhm.
with their group. And she was saying, even when I asked her what are the next steps in the process, she said that you would want to meet the other EAs, even the one who's going out on maternity leave, as well as a few of the executives. And
Okay.
a lot of times in executive assistant roles, you may meet the executive coordinator, but that's it. You never meet the partners or the executives because
Mhm.
none of that matters because it's super, super formal. And they just need someone who's going to
Mhm.
be at work, who's going to represent the company well, that's not going to be up there using profanity and coming to work drunk. That's what they're looking for, and they don't really need to meet you on a personal level.
Mhm.
But with this group, she's saying that, yeah, we want you to meet um, even the lady who's going to be going out on maternity leave. So I imagine that,
Mhm.
if I was brought into the role, I would spend quite a bit of time talking to her, even though she's out on
Mhm.
maternity leave. I would be talking to
Mhm.
her and telling her, well, this is going on, and where's this file at, and where did you do this.
Okay.
And it wouldn't
Okay.
be offensive to them. It would be expected.
Okay.
So it
So
seemed
would you
very
take it if
nice.
it was offered?
Yes, I would take it.
Yes, I would, she says.
Yes, I would. I tell you, I was
Okay.
up all night looking for everything that had Eddie Bauer and Jones of New York, and I went out and bought taupe stockings and.
Oh my goodness. Well, now you have them for every interview for the rest of your life. Speaking of which, any traction on the other folks you've been talking to?
No traction yet. But in talking to Christina, she told me that they do have town hall meetings, and she says that they do have an upcoming conference. And so I would probably have to dress more formally during that time because she said that
Mhm.
they do have visitors and stuff like that. And I have been, in offices where when we had company coming, you would dress up. We would know ahead of
Mhm.
time. And
Mhm.
so on those days, you would have to pull it together, honey, and slick that hair back into a bun and be uber professional because we have company. So,
Okay. Did she say when the next interview would be?
no, but she did say that she has some more screenings this week. And so she asked me what my availability was for next week, and I told her that I was available.
Okay. Okay. All right. You know what you have to do now, right?
Have some coffee and put my feet up and take these heels off.
Yeah, you can do that. That's it. You know what you need to do before you do anything else. No, you don't. So sit down, write a thank you note.
Oh, but who do I
Send
send
it
it?
to us.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You really want it kind of short and sweet. Thank her for the time and information she shared with you. Let her know that you're eager to continue the conversation. And say if you don't connect this week, you hope she has a great week and a wonderful weekend.
Okay.
Send that over to us. We'll give it over to her. Sometimes that's enough to push it for the top.
Okay, I have, let me see. Because I don't know, I have an address for Viva, And so let me just make sure.
Yeah, send it to the person who set up the interview for you.
Okay.
You can even, just return all
That's
on an email
Canon.
and say, would you forward this over? Yeah, send it over to Ken.
Okay, and so I have 3601 Algonquin Road, Suite 425, Rolling Meadows in Illinois.
Yeah, no, but you want to do an email.
Oh, do an email? I was going to actually send a thank you card.
Well, that's nice, but they'll have a decision before it gets here.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for your time and the information shared. I'm eager to continue the conversation, and if we don't speak next week, have a wonderful weekend.
No, if we don't connect again this week.
Okay.
Have a great week and a wonderful weekend.
Okay. All right. I will send it now.
All right.
Thank you, Janet. And I'll keep you posted if I hear anything back from those other guys, Microsoft or Starbucks.
Okay. Keep me posted, and we'll keep you posted on what we hear from these guys.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jesus Christ. And I'm going to be late. Good morning. How can I help you? Good morning. If we don't connect again this week,
kidding you, bitch.